Hey, you guys, welcome back. And today I'm actually really hyped up about the plugins we're going to be showing you guys. These are plugins I personally use all the time. And to add to that, I've recently got a new MIDI controller or a MIDI keyboard that has transport control. So you don't have to hear the big spacebar hit when I'm pressing play anymore. Anyway, the first thing is we have some vocals that were processed, and I'm going to actually take off all of the processing, and we're going to listen to how they sound without anything, and then I'm going to go into detail of what I did and why I did it. So here we go. Without any processing, just clean vocals.
A man in the corner approached me for a match. I knew right away he was not ordinary. He said, "Are you looking for something easy to catch?" I said, "I got no money." He said, "That ain't necessary."
So this is obviously a Bob Dylan cover song. This is a song that I've actually done with you guys before when I was showing you guys drum processing with well-recorded tracks. So again, this was recorded using a custom 75 Neve console. This was ran through the vintage or retro circuitry, and it was recorded with a Sennheiser MK4. So if we solo up the vocals and I open up Melodyne, which the reason why we're using Studio One, especially for this video, is because it actually has ARA integration, which basically means it's real time and it is built into it. So if we bypass the Melodyne processing right now, you could see what I actually did to correct the vocal. So if we listen to the vocal in solo without any processing at all, we'll make sure to bypass Melodyne.
A man in the corner approached me for a
You can kind of hear how it goes in and out of
I
pitch.
knew right away he was not ordinary.
It was very subtle, but I thought we could fix it by doing just a little bit of tweaking.
A man in the corner approached me for a match. I knew right away he was not ordinary.
Very subtle and very, very musical. A really great thing about Melodyne is it automatically will tell you what key you're in. And if you're not very fluent or comfortable with grabbing nodes and moving them around, you actually have this little button, which will actually automatically drift it to the pitch center and remove the pitch drift and even snap it to the scale that you're in. I use that a lot to help me out, at least with the basic tucking, and then I do the fine tuning by going into it. So that's it. Melodyne is actually really, really simple. And because it's built into Studio One, it's zero latency. And check this out. Normally when you use Melodyne, like let's say in Pro Tools, you will have to record the audio into the Melodyne plugin itself. So you hit record or transfer, it tracks it down, then you can do your editing. And a problem is if you move the audio will still play right here where it is because Melodyne itself has recorded it. But with ARA integration, you can see that it moved and it's playing back normally. You can actually see it because if let's say I cut this, you can see that I have a little cut mark. You can see that I've actually moved it. And that way you can actually have edits and everything you need inside of Melodyne without actually having to do any crazy editing, which saves a lot of time. So the next thing is these vocals sound good, but I think they could be a little bit brighter. The microphone didn't have the greatest body and air. So if we listen to it in solo.
A man in the corner approached me for a match.
So I can see some areas where I want to fix. So for that, I really like to use the Summit Audio EQF-100 from Softube. And this is an emulation of the actual EQ100 from Summit Audio. And this is an amazing EQ. If you ever go take a tour at the Warner Brothers studios, they actually have walls of these everywhere. These are used all over the place because they're so clean and they're so precise. So what I want to do is I'm going to zero out my settings and I'm just going to zero them out. And the way that this works is you have your plus, out, or minus, which is a cut. And you can use that with your mouse button to click between them or your scroll wheel. And I like to use the scroll wheel because it just feels cooler. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to add some warmth and we're going to add some brightness. I'm also going to use the high and low pass filters to kind of clean it up. Mostly the high pass by cutting up to about 82. And then I'm going to use the low shelf to cut a little bit more while adding some body using the low mid frequency. So here we go.
A man in the corner approached me for a match. I knew right away he was not ordinary.
So we're just going to cut around 100 just to be safe. And we're only going to be doing it by about 6 dBs.
A man in the corner approached.
So now we're going to boost it in the higher frequencies.
A man in the corner approached me for a match. I knew right away.
And we have a little bit of a resonant frequency that I want to get rid of. So we'll cut that.
A man in the corner approached me for a match. I knew right away he was not ordinary.
So right around there, we're only going to do a small 3 dB cut. Then we're going to do a low mid frequency boost to add some body back.
A man in the corner approached me for a match.
Right there sounds perfect.
I knew right away
Without
he
it,
was not
sounds thin and brittle.
ordinary. He said,
Back on.
"Are you looking for
It has some oomph to it, some emphasis. So I'm going to add more of the high frequency boost.
a man in the corner
Without it.
approached me for a match.
With it
I
on,
knew right away."
just add some attitude and some color. Next, we also have to worry about the fact that the vocals don't exactly fit in the mix the way that they're placed. They're set up in a kind of a static mix volume set and they sound great. And if I bypass the CL1B, and I have reset it already, but we bypass it and we see where it stands in the mix, you can see that it has lots of dynamic movement. Take it out of solo.
A man in the corner approached me for a match.
And then right
I
here,
knew right away he was not ordinary. He said, "Are you looking for something easy to get?"
so right there, especially when the electric guitar comes in, it really kind of disappears. So this is a TubeTech CL1B emulation, which is a very, very widely used and very dark sounding compressor. It's very fast, but very, very transparent. So here we go. Let's set a ratio of about 3.4, turn it on.
A man in the corner approached me for a match.
Set
I
a
knew
fast
right
release.
away he was not ordinary. He said, "Are you looking for something easy to catch?" I said, "I got
Makeup
no
gain.
money." He said that.
Let's see how that sounds like in the mix right now.
A man in the corner approached me for a match. I knew right away he was not ordinary.
It sounds
He
good.
said, "Are you looking for something easy to catch?" I said, "I got no money."
Let's see what it sounds like without it.
A man in the corner approached me for a match. I knew right away he was not ordinary. He said, "Are you looking for something easy to catch?" I said, "I got."
So we can see how it kind of disappears sometimes. I'm going to actually bring it up a tiny bit just in the fader and bring down the makeup gain to about 3 dB. That adds a nice warmth and a nice color to it. Next, we want to actually add some reverb. So we're going to turn on our reverb send. And I'm going to be using the TSAR1 or the TSAR1 Reverb from Softube. This is basically a reverb that is their own creation. It doesn't emulate anything. So I actually really like the preset of the modern vocal chamber for vocals or the vintage 224 plate. So let's check that out. Let's solo up the vocal and let's see how this sounds.
A man in the corner approached
Really
me
lush.
for a match.
Very smooth. So I want to bring down the high cut. We're going to mess around with the reverb tail and the early reflections blend.
A man in the corner approached me for a match.
Mess with
I
the density.
knew right away he was not ordinary. He said, "Are you looking for something easy to catch?"
And let's darken this up.
I said, "I got no money." He said, "That ain't necessary."
That sounds really, really good. So let's see how this sounds like in the mix.
A man in the corner approached me for a match. I knew right away he was not ordinary. He said, "Are you looking for something easy to catch?" I said, "I got no money." He said, "That ain't necessary."
That sounds really good. Let's see what happens if we bypass everything, even the Melodyne and the reverb.
A man in the corner approached me for a match. I knew right away he was not ordinary. He said, "Are you looking for something?"
And it sounds a little bit lifeless. Let's play it again and then we'll slowly bring everything in.
A man in the corner
Do the EQ and compressor,
approached me for a match.
and then the
I
reverb,
knew right away
and then the
he was
Melodyne.
not ordinary. He said, "Are you looking for something easy to catch?"
Sounds way better and it has a nice little vibe to it. That's going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is Jerry Mateo with recordingsoftware.com. And remember to check out the link in the description below. That'll be it for today's video. I will see you guys later.